This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Ken Coleman, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Merry Christmas to you, America. Merry Christmas.
Well, it's nice to hear those two words.
It's good. It's the way it should be.
Yeah, I like that. I noticed you didn't say Happy Holidays.
Well, that's me, because my political correct stuff's kind of way low on the thing. So, open phones at 888-825-5225. Ken Coleman is all about the Ken Coleman Show, and what he does there, of course, is help you with your career and your jobs and making decisions on the move. And this is a season when a lot of people reevaluate coming into the new year, heading that direction. So you got questions on your mind about the Great Resignation, about jobs or careers or whatever, Ken's here to help. And we're here to help about life and money and in any part of it. We're just talk to you. It's what we do. Phone number 888-825-5225. Colin is in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Colin, how are you?
Rave, I am better than I deserve. How you doing?
Just the same, sir. How can I help?
Wonderful. Well, first off, it is an honor to speak to both you and Ken. Really big fans. Discovered you about a year ago, and unfortunately got into a lease a little too late on that. And so my wife and I were in baby step 2. Really, our lease is the only thing that's really keeping us outside of our mortgage from being debt-free. So I had a question. The buyout on this lease is about $27,000, and we could actually, the Kelley Blue Book value of the car is close to about $40,000. And so my question for you is, perhaps should we actually take out a loan, do the payoff of this car, and then turn around and sell it, and then take that profit and put it toward a cash car?
What's your household income?
So it's roughly about $90,000.
Okay. So the car is really probably, if you own another vehicle or two or a lawnmower or anything, you have too much tied up in car. So the car is it's too expensive a purchase. You got to move it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you just sell it?
Well, so it's a lease right now.
I know.
So that's what we're just saying. Should we
But you can sell it.
Buy it out.
It works exactly the same way. You can go get a loan if you want to, but it works exactly the same way with a fleece as it does with just paying off a car. There's a car loan. If you had a $27,000 loan on the car and you sold it for $40,000, the buyer would give you a check, and you would have to take it to the bank, and it would take a couple of weeks for the title to come in because the bank has stored the title in another city. And so you would give the buyer, in most states, now I don't know how it works in Texas, but in most states you give the buyer a bill of sale, the keys, and the car, and they drive off, and the title will come a few weeks later when you get the title after you paid the car off. Okay? Same exact thing here. You're just going to pay the car off. You're going to send them a check for $27,000, purchase and pay the car off simultaneously, and they're going to send you a title.
Okay. So you're saying to find a buyer first for the car?
The buyer has to be willing to buy a car that has a lien against it.
Got it.
Like it does.
Okay.
Like pretend you had a $27,000 loan, which is what you're talking about doing over at the bank anyway.
Right.
If you want to go to the bank and the bank's not going to charge you any fees and just get a loan and pay it off, that'll get the title in your hometown, and you could go to the bank with the buyer if it's sitting at a branch or something, right? If you're dealing with a local bank that you have connection with, if the title's sitting at your branch manager's desk and you run over there with the buyer, you can do the transaction all in one fell swoop. That makes a buyer much more comfortable typically.
Got it. Okay.
But if you're dealing with a bank that's going to hold the title out of town, it's not much different than where you are today.
Okay.
Now, you can also check with a car dealer friend of yours locally and find out how it's done in Texas, but that's how it's done in most states. Some states are wacky on everything, and it's worth checking on. But that's the big thing. The good news is you're going to get a car that you pay $13,000 cash for, and you're not going to have any debt anymore when the smoke clears. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah, and the only thing I would add to that is dealers are looking for cars. They're advertising everywhere. We'll buy your car. We'll buy your car. And a dealer, maybe where he got it from, probably buy it back for that kind of money and take care of all of that for
Yeah,
it.
if you can get 40 on a trade-in.
Yeah.
I don't know what the sales tax rate is in Texas, but in Tennessee we have no income tax, but we have pretty healthy sales tax. And so if you were to do a trade and walk out of a dealer with a $13,000 car paid for and let the dealer handle all this transaction, now you don't want to take a $10,000 discount because it's a dealer, okay? But if you can get a good buy out of a dealer on the purchased car and on the sale of your car, you might save sales tax on the whole transaction. You would in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that's.
And the only reason I say that
it's just bustling crazy out there.
Right now it's crazy. Traditional history, you'd take a hit on that.
Yeah.
But now I'd kick the tires on it because if
no
you do
pun intended.
Yeah. There it is, folks. Walked right into that one.
Yeah, you did. You just underhand pitch, man.
I mean, that was a harmless one, thankfully. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't get any trouble with that one, but it could work out to where it's an easier transaction. Is the point? Might be much easier.
Yeah, there you go. Tony is with us. Tony is in Kansas City. Hi, Tony. How are you?
Better than I deserve, Dave.
Good. How can I help?
So we were in baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and my husband got an opportunity to move to a different state. And so we made it to be closer to family. And the housing market here is double where we were at.
No, it's not.
So we moved into...
No, it's not. There's not a place that's half of Kansas City in the United States.
Okay, we lived in a smaller area in Illinois, and a good-sized house was $250,000. Yeah. We're moving here, and they're closer to...
There's lots of $250,000 houses. There's lots of $250,000 houses in Kansas City.
Okay, but we want to be in a good school district.
Oh, okay. That's not double. I want to live in a better neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So our question is, we are completely debt free. Moved into an apartment that was 25% of our take home, but we're looking at: do we live in the apartment longer than 5 years to get in the neighborhood we want to, or do we go? More than 25% of our income, or 30 or more?
Or you look in a different neighborhood.
Then we're looking at least an hour commute for my husband.
You know what? You got house fever, girl, and you picked out a house and you're trying to convince me to let you do something stupid. I'm not going to play your game. Okay? Don't do it. You got house fever. It's dripping off of you. Go take a cold shower and driving around in a different neighborhood than the one you've been driving around in. You're trying to box me in the corner with like 2 stupid decisions and I have to choose between them. I'm not going to do that to you. If you want to go do it, it's not going to be on me. It's not going to be because Dave Ramsey said do it. But no, I think there's another house in Kansas City for you, darling. It's the third option. C, none of the above. This is the Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Ramsey personality is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Tristan is with us in Davenport, Iowa. Hi, Tristan. How are you?
Better than I should be.
Good.
How about you?
Better than I should be. What's up?
Well, long story short, I'm supposed to be moving to the apartments up near the Moline, Western Illinois University facility for engineering. And, I'm not going to have an income while I'm there, and they want triple the renting income or a upfront payment. Fine by me. Can't do a student loan, so thank goodness for that. And my family and I are having a little dispute about this. I'm thinking a gap year to save up as much money as I can and chunk it out like would be best in my head. And they're going, let's refinance the home and pay for it that way. What would you recommend here?
Wow. A different apartment?
I have to go to an apartment. There's no dorms up there, and it's 100 miles from the nearest campus.
No, a different one.
Okay, so Western Illinois University has an engineering campus, and the engineering campus does not have dorms.
I got that. But the apartment that you have presented has terms that you cannot do. So find a different apartment. There's one apartment in the entire town?
No, there's several, and most of them have the exact same terms.
No. Nope.
Nope.
You went to one.
No, I've called 10. I have records.
Okay. I'm calling bull, but anyway,
Well, let's play it out. So you didn't say all of them.
Okay.
How many apartment complexes are in the entire area? You've done enough research.
There's a rich old lady with a garage.
There's a
rich old lady with a garage out back that you could rent her garage apartment for nothing, and she'll work with you. And oh, by the way, you need to work while you're in school. I don't know what this crap is. You can't work.
Fair enough.
And pay for the apartment. I mean,
it's just you.
All you got to do is cover the rent.
Living over a garage is got to be way less than all the fancy apartments with all the stuff. There's a way to do this. But you haven't exhausted all of your options. Dave's absolutely right about that, and you have to exhaust all your options.
Yeah.
I know you're right. I've only got 5 weeks to figure it out, though.
Well, you ain't got nothing else to do.
You should be able to do this in 48 hours. I could rent it. You could rent something if you just get after it. This thing called the interweb. You get out there on that thing, and thanks to Al Gore, you could find out a lot of information.
Yeah. Or just hey, if I paid you $100,000 to go solve this problem without borrowing money, you could figure it out because you're a sharp dude. You're getting ready to go into engineering.
That's right.
Fair enough.
So here's the thing. Let me tell you what. Here's what you're bumping up against is two problems, and I want to help you with those because it's going to help you with a whole bunch of things. Number one is if you will draw a line in the sand in your life that says, I don't borrow money. I have to figure out a way to do this without borrowing money. Suddenly other options will come out because borrowing money is always the easiest way to do almost anything short term, but it destroys the long term. But I mean, if you want to get a car, it's easier to go borrow money and walk off the lot with a car. It's harder than working and saving up money to get a car. If you want to do anything, fill in the blank, borrowed money is always the easiest up front and the hardest long term because you get to pay back payments with interest and it destroys and screws up your life. And you look back later and kick your own butt because it didn't force you to seek out other creative alternatives to the problem. The second thing you don't want to do is you don't want to deal in absolutes and fatalist thinking, which is what Ken's pointing out. And that concept is this. When making decisions, if the only options on the table are dumb ones, you need more options. Mm-hmm. Not start rationalizing and declaring in your mind, well, this is in freaking nowhere near nothing, and there's only 10 apartments, and I called all 10 of them, and so that's it. Case closed. I'm screwed. And so now I have to decide which stupid thing I'm going to do of the two stupid options.
And I would throw one other thing to add to that list, Tristan, and this is really important. You've got family that is recommending to you debt. because that's what everybody else does, because they think it's going to pay off and they think it's normal. And I think there's two things you're going to have to realize you have to do in this moment. You wanted us to tell you that you shouldn't do debt, and you know you shouldn't do debt. So you're going to have to deal with either disappointing your family or resenting your family.
Or finding a whole different way of doing it and them not understanding, and that's okay.
That's what I'm saying. He has to disappoint them.
Well, it's not like he
No. What I'm talking
shot the next door neighbor or something.
No. I'm talking about the pressure he's feeling.
Yeah, he just went and got an apartment. That's all he did.
Yeah, when family puts pressure on us, here's what we have to do. We do what's right. And when what's right may disappoint them, and I don't mean
or they don't or confuse them.
Yeah, I'm just getting, the point I'm making is you will resent them if you do something that you know is wrong.
Exactly.
And so I always want to choose disappointing somebody versus resenting them. You know why?
I think you've got. I think you're obviously bright because you don't get into engineering school if you're stupid. Okay, and you've got an incredibly bright future, and a gap year is not necessary. I mean, figure out a way to find some place to live. Get somebody else that's got an apartment already that's a 2-bedroom and become their roommate. I don't know what it is. But this idea that you have to come up front with money or take a gap year is the only two possible options. It's just not accurate, Tristan. It's just not accurate. Okay, Ken, that's 2 for 2.
Okay.
We got to stop a minute.
All right.
So when I'm teaching leadership to entree leaders, people running businesses, I teach them this same situation. It's simple decision-making framework. Okay? Human beings, if we're not careful, we can pick out something that we want to do, and we can't figure out a way to do the thing, and that's both of these last 2 callers. We can't figure out a way to do the thing that's in front of us, and so we box ourselves into a corner without enough options when you're making decisions. When you're making decisions, you need every possible option on the table until a good one sticks its head up.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at things and you're saying, I've got a bad idea or another bad idea, and I have to choose between the 2 bad ideas, what's happening is you've convinced yourself that you have to do one of them, and you're trying to figure out a way to justify, it was the least of all evils.
That's right.
And that's just not good paradigm. That's
so
just
true.
not good critical thinking skills. So what it amounts to is you got to be another way. There's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. And you just keep asking that question until you figure out what that other way is. And that's when you find the rich old lady with the garage apartment out back, and she thinks you're a cute young college student, and you will clean her gutters for her.
That's right.
And you will mow her grass, and you might end up with free rent and a new friend. Yep. And you might end up with all kinds of things, increased quality relationships in your life, everything else, versus I've got corporate apartments over here. So I hear this all the time, for instance, that's why I'm calling BS on his apartment thing, because, we've had different Ramsey personalities, Anthony O'Neill when he was here and others, sit and call apartment complexes. And they say, do you have to have a FICO score? Do you have to have a FICO score? Do you have to have a FICO score? And 9 out of 10 of them say no. But people tell me all the time you can't rent an apartment without a FICO score because they called and talked to the one they wanted to rent.
Right.
And so now I got to go get a credit card because the one I wanted to rent. And so now I got 2 stupid things.
Yeah.
And they're boxing me in. More options. You need more options.
Here's the key. You make the right decision, the big decision, then you manage against that decision. So I'm not going to go into debt while I go to school. I'm not going to go in debt to live. So that's the decision. Now I go and I manage against that decision.
Yeah.
That's the key.
And I'm not taking a gap year. So am I living in a tent? Am I living in my car?
That's right.
Am I living in a rich old lady's apartment? Am I getting a roommate? Have I gone up there and spent 2 weeks looking for properties because this is a problem I got to solve?
If
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Ramsey Personality is my co-host today on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. Manuel and Zabina are with us. Hey guys, welcome to Ramsey.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good to have you. Now, where do you guys live?
Germany.
All right. Well, welcome to Nashville. This may be our first in-person international debt-free scream.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
You're German?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
we
you
are.
live in Germany. You're not Americans
Correct.
living in Germany.
Nope.
Okay. Wow. So how did you find us?
Yeah, that's actually funny. About 10 years ago, someone on a Disney message board mentioned being debt-free and being on the Dave Ramsey plan and going to Disney completely, with cash.
That's cool. And that piqued your interest and you decided debt-free is a good idea.
Yeah, a little bit, but it took me a while to get on board.
Years later.
Okay. All right. So how much have you paid off?
We paid off $119,000.
Very good. And how long did that take you?
23 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
We started at about 180 and we ended at 230.
Wow.
Good. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm an actuary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an electrical engineer.
Ah, very good. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for doing all the conversion to dollars, so our audience will have a clue, and me will have a clue what we're talking about, because I just spent half my time in the math. But very good. So, what kind of debt was the $119,000?
It was 2 cars and home remodeling.
Ah, okay. All right. So you found us on a Disney message board, but somewhere along 2 years ago, something happened, and you decided, we're doing this Ramsey stuff. What happened?
Yeah, so back then I was doing our finances by myself, and I was always stressed out because for some reason there was just never any money left, despite me knowing in my head we made a lot of money. And then in the spring of 19, our golden retriever puppy got meningitis, and so on top of worrying if our dog was going to make it, I was also stressing out about how we were going to pay for the treatment. And that was kind of my I've had it moment, and I went online and I found your website and I remembered the name from years back, and then bought the Total Money Makeover, read it, and was completely on board. And then I talked to him, and he was like, I'm the spender, so he was just not convinced that I was really gonna do it. But he said, he said,
a skeptic, not necessarily of the system, but of the person doing it.
Me, yes,
Exactly.
yes. So and then he said, well, let's just try it. And then he saw how committed I was, and then like a couple of months later, we were on board, and it was time to go.
Game on.
Yeah.
Okay. And both of you join hands and are working on it together, and game on. And 119,000 knocks out in 23 months. Magical, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Way to go, you guys. So you've really sacrificed. I mean, you really poured into this. Did you sell anything big?
No, just little things on eBay, but most of it was just, what do you say, beans and rice and beans.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What's the German version of that?
Is there, literally translated, it's Bohnen und Reis. But that's not a German dish.
What's a cheap German dish?
Yeah.
Oh, potatoes.
Potatoes, yeah.
It'll be,
kraut and potatoes, maybe?
Yeah. Well,
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's awesome.
Sounds pretty good.
It actually does. Better than rice and beans, I think.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Well, way to go, guys. Congratulations. And you just had to make a trip all the way to Nashville to do this?
Oh yeah, I wanted to
Really?
come here from the beginning.
Anyway, this was an excuse.
Yeah, no, I wanted to do the debt-free scream all along, but we're also here because a friend of ours is getting married at Disney next Sunday, so we're going to go to Orlando
So
afterwards.
you're heading down to Florida.
That
Okay.
feels poetic. You hear about
circle.
Dave Ramsey as you're on a message board on a cruise message, and now you're going to do your debt-free scream and go ahead and celebrate at Disney.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Exactly.
That's
it
full
worked out
circle.
really well.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
really great.
Very,
I'm a big
cool.
Disney fan, so that worked
Okay.
out.
So
Now,
while we were here in the States, we just wanted to have a huge car.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we got an F-150 for a rental.
Of course.
Massive. Way to go.
Well, we are German, so we kind of love cars.
Yeah.
Well, we know how to buy cars, so
Yeah. So what kind of cars have you got at home?
Yeah, we have 2 BMWs.
Of course.
And those were the dead. And
Yeah.
that was our biggest fight if we were going to sell one of them. I wanted to sell it because I was all in. It was like, yay.
she was
and-
more than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
mean,
he
but
didn't want-
23 months, you got them done.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah. Good. And they're great cars.
Yeah.
So well done. I love it. This is so fun. Okay. So I've had a limited exposure to German culture. Been there a couple times visiting, but the stereotype is the best way of saying it, is positive on money, that Germans are very frugal in general. Is that true?
Yeah, there's definitely...
Unless they go to buy a BMW, but yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing. I don't think there's big credit card debt issues or anything, but people do go into debt for cars. But yeah, I felt a bit weird having that much debt and realizing I had that much debt, and I think I felt a bit ashamed because I do think most Germans don't go into debt as much. They do have mortgages, so that's completely normal and accepted, but anything else, not so much.
Canadians kind of have that same thing, except they're very, almost, until this generation, a mortgage in Canada was just unheard of. And they've picked up the mortgage thing and running with it. But Canadians are that way too, in general. I mean, but again, there's massive numbers of both that do dumb things with money, just like there is in America. So,
and I'm sure there's actually a lot of Germans who are in debt, but we just don't talk about it as much. So
I don't hear either. They just wear it. Yeah. Good for you guys. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations, and thank you for making a trip to Nashville to share this with us. We've got a copy of the brand new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, that will come out in January, but we're going to give you guys an advanced copy today.
Cool.
And also a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away and pay it forward to someone. Maybe that couple getting married, maybe they can get started on that. You never know. So very, very cool stuff. Congratulations. Now, what do you tell people that the key to getting out of debt is? You paid off $119,000 in 23 months, and very little of it was due to selling things.
right.
Yeah, but being disciplined.
Yeah, that's the German version of it. Budgeting, definitely, and like being on the same page, and then just knowing that you want it. Like you really have to want it, otherwise you're not going to stick with it because you had to say no like a lot. Yeah.
What was the hardest thing that you had to say no to?
Vacations, but then COVID helped with that. So.
Someone else said no for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, cool. Well, have a good time while you're here in America, and in Orlando, you'll have a blast down there as well. We're so proud of y'all. Very, very well done. Congratulations. Good stuff. All right, Manuel and Zabina, and I probably destroyed that, but that's the best I can do at it. $119,000 paid off in 23 months, making 180 to 230. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! How fun! Woo-hoo! Here's the interesting thing. The law of gravity works in every culture.
Yeah, it's true.
The truth
Yeah.
works in every culture. When you know what the truth is and you function in that, it works. Developing countries that are, very sophisticated. It turns out the truth works in all of them. And this idea of, I woke up and I'm going to get on the same page with my husband, and we're going to get out of debt, and we're going to sacrifice, and we're going to say no to things, and now we're free.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating to see, and I love little nuances to the story. First of all, I got to say, I love hearing the international countdown. I hope that catches on. I hope people from all around the globe decide to come here. We'd love to treat you with great Southern hospitality and hear your story. But one of the things I think is great is for those, the whole tribe that's listening right now, when you just go on a Disney message board and you're there to book a cruise, but you say, you know what? Because of this Ramsey Solutions, Dave Ramsey guy, we were able to pay cash for our cruise. And you just put it out there having no idea the impact that it had. I just love that part of the story.
Yeah.
That this stuff still works, and share it. Don't be ashamed.
There was someone else
This is a
that
great story
won and
because of that.
wanted someone else to win. And who
cool.
knew they were going to reach all the way across the Atlantic?
That's the butterfly effect. Really cool.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's a good point. It's a very good point. Very, very good point. This is the Ramsey Show. Well, we all know the story of the tortoise and the hare, and of course it's one of my favorites because the slow and steady tortoise wins the race every time. But we often overlook the reason for the hare's downfall. He didn't lose because he was slow. He lost because he took a nap. He chose to put off what he knew he should do in favor of what he wanted to do. For all you tortoises out there, we know how hard it is to keep pushing, fighting, hacking away at your debt, especially when you see all the hares around you quitting their jobs, deferring their student loan payments, financing vacations and cars they can't afford. Wouldn't it be great to get a boost this time of year? Well, what about our Ramsey Christmas Cash giveaway? This year we're giving away up to $5,000, and you can enter to win at RamseySolutions.com/giveaway. No purchase is necessary, and you can enter every day to increase your chances of winning. For an extra dose of motivation just in time for the new year, our team is featuring a new deal every day. So today only, when you buy the Total Money Makeover book for $10, you'll also get Know Yourself, Know Your Money gift card for free. Make 2020 your best wealth building year yet. Shop our one-day deal at our online store at RamseySolutions.com. Andy is in Stockton, California. Hi, Andy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Mr. Ramsey and Mr. Coleman, great, and what an honor to speak to you guys. My wife and I are wanting to come to you for some wisdom today. My wife and I want to know if we should pay off our house today and use it as a rental property and wait till the housing market cools off. Or should we sell our house and apply the proceeds to a newer and bigger house since we have an 8-month-old son and possibly adding another little one to our family soon?
Okay, I'm a little bit confused on the details. So you own a house today. You have the money to pay it off today.
Correct. So
what do you owe on the house?
I got married, $120.
And you have how much in the bank?
$120 with a $20,000 emergency fund.
On top of that, okay. So you have you have exactly the amount you need without touching your emergency fund to pay off your house, and your house is worth what?
Conservative estimates are anywhere from $375 to $400.
Okay, and the house you want to buy is how much?
About $600 to $650,000.
Okay, and what do you guys make a year?
$158.
Okay. So when would you buy the two different times in either case, you're going to sell the current home that you're in, whether you sell it now and buy later or buy now. Is that your question?
Well, correct. So the idea would be whether or not my wife and I are kind of in the discussion phase of whether or not we should pay off, because this house that we're currently living in is a house that I bought before I met my wife.
Yeah, but if you don't have the money to pay cash for the other house, so you can't keep this house.
Okay.
It's got to go, because you're essentially borrowing on your new home to buy a rental.
Okay, that's what I thought you were going to say. I just wanted to make sure that I had a feeling you were going to say that.
So okay. So that was the question. Okay, I misunderstood what the question was. Okay. Yeah, if that's the question, that's easy. No, we don't borrow on our current residence to buy a rental. And in essence, by keeping a paid-for home and then going and borrowing that much more, $400,000 more in debt on your new home, it's as if you borrowed $400,000 to buy that rental. And no, I would not do that. So just reverse engineer it, right?
Yeah. And again, I think here again, I mean, with the income they've got, the money they got in the bank, they can certainly go up to a $600,000 house, but only one 8-month-old, I don't know.
It's okay to move up to that. I mean, you got a $200,000 mortgage making $158, and he's young. He's going to pay it off. Put it on a 10-year mortgage. Yeah, knock it out. Our question today comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure or you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Joe in California. My family and I are relocating to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm finding it hard to secure employment since we still live out of state. We're debt-free except our current mortgage. When our home sells, we'll have $330,000 in addition to $40,000 in cash already saved for the move. I am a skilled telecommunications tech, and I don't anticipate finding a job once we arrive, as my job types seem to be in high demand in that area. We would live off of our savings until I find a job. Can we move as soon as our house sells and worry about finding a job after we get there? I would not do that. Seems to be some irony in this question. If it's in high demand and you're skilled, I think this is a couple of trips. Use some vacation time beforehand. You know you've got the cash. I would not live off of it once I move there. I would delay the move until I had something waiting for me, because I just don't think it's going to be that difficult for you to move into Knoxville, Tennessee as a skilled telecommunications tech and get a gig. You have to go there several times. You have to make several trips, make some great connections ahead of time, go in and do interviews and find something. You've got some relationships in that area. I just think this is a false narrative. So I would not move as soon as the house sells without a job, because I don't think it's necessary. But you do have the savings, so I don't think it's a bad decision.
Yeah, it is. It's a bad decision.
All right, that's
don't
fair.
Do it.
Good.
Don't do it.
I just think it's unnecessary to do
Well,
that.
here's what's going to happen, Joe. You're going to move over there, and then you're going to screw around for 6 or 8 weeks, goofing off.
Blow through too much.
And say, I was looking for a job. No, you weren't. But if you go get a job first, you'll go to work when you move.
That's right.
That's what'll happen. That's just human nature. And you'll use, I didn't look that hard. And you're going to have all this crap in your head, all these reasons why you didn't go to work. But if you got a job and you start 2 weeks after you move, you know exactly when your start time is. You're hired. Your butt will be in gear. You'll be going to work. And that's what you need to do. You need to drive your butt over there and get you a job lined up, and then put your house on the market. It'll sell in 20 minutes, and then you make your move. It's very easy to do.
Yeah.
But don't go over there and, I'm going to work it out. It'll all work out. It's not like, that's how people.
You know why this is?
It's how people end up waiting tables that didn't want to wait tables.
That's right. Well, and so it's not convenient from California to Knoxville, back and forth, to be in person. But
you got $40,000 in the bank. There's a thing called a jet airplane.
Just
get on one.
That's right.
Get on one. There's direct flights into Nashville. Beautiful 2.5-hour drive over to Knoxville, and probably a direct LA flight into Knoxville. I don't know.
Hey, you're not the only person from California coming to Tennessee.
Oh,
My
Lord
goodness, I'm
Jesus,
seeing those license plates everywhere.
There may be more Californians here than Tennesseans by the end of the year.
Uh-oh.
It's getting scary. Y'all don't California or Tennessee now.
That's the truth.
Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. So, Ken, the beauty of a job market like this is that, you talk about this in Paycheck to Purpose, your best-selling book, the one we just did, but this market is so hot. If you will apply some basic principles, You can land something in 20 minutes nowadays. Right. I mean, it really is a buyer's market for if you're looking for a job.
Yeah, you're going to have to own the fact that, yes, I got to put myself out there, but if you use different tools, and that is relationships, get yourself out there. Companies are in a situation right now, Dave, here's the last 2 job numbers. August and September, 4.3 million left in August, changed jobs, 4.4 in September. That's nearly 9 million people have changed locations. It is a game of musical chairs out there right now, and companies are paying more. They're willing to hire you. All you've got to do is put yourself out there and say, hey, I've got the experience, I've got the skill, and I've got the desire to be here. You're going to be an extremely attractive candidate. And so the kind of the psychology around job search.
I mean, you have to flip the rock over for something to run out.
Well, you have to, but that's the point, is most people don't want to do that. But if you're willing to do it, now is going to be the best payoff for that.
Yeah,
Put the work in, do what we teach in the book From Paycheck to Purpose, the Ken Coleman Show website, kencoleman.com. We've got free tools that you can pay for. And let me tell you something, now is the time to get it. It's not going to stay this way.
Yeah, it's like a seller's market on a house.
That's right.
I mean, you stinking houses are going crazy. And it's a great time to sell, horrible time to buy.
Yeah.
It's a great time to look for a job, horrible time to be hiring.
Yes.
But, that's the process. And so we've got an advantage here because we've got an unusually awesome culture and people want to work here. But a lot of companies are struggling with that because they're not that appealing. This is The Ramsey Show.
Did you know you can listen to The Ramsey Show on your smart speaker? Just tell Alexa, Google Assistant, or Siri to play The Ramsey Show podcast. Check out all Ramsey Network shows on your smart speaker today.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life, your money, and with Ken here, your career. Scott is with us to start off this hour. Hey, Scott, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for having me on.
Sure. What's up?
So I have a question about 529 plan for my child, putting money into that, or maxing out my Roth IRAs and retirements instead, because I'll be around age 62 when he's 18 going to college. So my thought is that I could just cash flow out of my retirement instead of doing the 529 plan. But I didn't know if there's any advantages or disadvantages that I'm not thinking of.
Let me back up. Are you out of debt?
Yes.
House and everything?
Correct.
Way to go, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How much is in your retirement account?
Right now I have about $400,000.
Cool. What's your paid-for house worth?
Probably around $200,000.
Good for you. You're doing great, man. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, so it almost is a matter of philosophy of life versus it's not a big deal mathematically. A 529 grows tax-free, a Roth IRA grows tax-free. All right, and so if money gets trapped in the 529 and isn't used, it wouldn't be trapped in the Roth IRA, and so it would have been good to have it over there. However, you can do both since you have no payments at all. I don't know why you couldn't max out your Roth IRAs and do some 529. Why can't you do both?
Let me back up then, I guess. So I'm maxing out my Roth IRA and maxing out my 457.
Right. and do his college. What do you make? What's your household income?
Around 80,000.
Oh, it starts to get pinchy. Okay. All right. Yeah. The way I answer questions here, Scott, is what would I do if I woke up in your shoes? Okay. You're going to be a millionaire when this kid goes to school times a bunch, probably 2 or 3 million. So you're going to be fine. The kid's going to school. That's not in question. You're going to have the money, and you're going to have the money to retire. That's not in question. So what would I do? I was in a similar situation, I guess, at your age, and I chose to do some in the kid's college fund, but I didn't overfund it. And so even if you said, okay, I'm going to split the idea on this. I'm going to take 50% out of my money and pay for college, and I'm going to put 50% of what I think the college is going to be into the 529. And so the 529 is not enough. The way I'm talking about funding it, you've not funded it well enough to pay for college, but you're going to have millions of dollars over here, and you'll be 62, and you can access it in your Roth, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and there's something about saying kids' college, and then I don't have any money saved for kids' college directly with a label on it that just feels wrong down inside. And so I had kids' college funds in addition to building wealth and maxing out retirement when I was your age, dealing with a little bit more income than you're dealing with at that time. But I did all that. So yeah, I'm not. If I have to choose, I'm going to back off a little and say I'm going to put, I don't know, $500 a month, $6,000 a year into a 529, or even $3,000 a year, even $250 a month, and none of that really changes the equation. But there's something about the groove in your brain and the conversations around your kitchen table. This is your college fund. This is your college fund. Versus, got your college covered. It's over here in my retirement. There's something that changes in the household spirit.
What is that specifically?
I'm an old salesman, I guess, and it's the assumptive close.
Yeah. Kind of, this is what is expected.
I always told my kids they have a college fund. This is your college fund. This is your college fund. This is your college fund. Which assumes your butt's going to college.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought. Right. That's what I thought you were getting at. Yeah.
There's something in there with that, instead of like, oh, you got lots of options because there's money and whatever you want to do, Right. And it was just like, I believe in a 4-year education. I like education. I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's necessary to win, and I think it's overpriced right now in most places, and I think a lot of people study stupid stuff during that 4 years, and they need to stop doing that. But I'm not willing to go, all higher education is not worth it, like some people are saying. That's bull. You can make more in some cases being a welder.
Oh,
you can make more in some cases being a diesel mechanic than you can getting a degree in left-handed puppetry.
Yeah.
And so
I fall in the middle on that, as you know, but it's based on reality.
That's kind of where
I am. Is it the best way or the only way?
There's the only way you go get a 4-year degree is if you're studying something that's usable.
Yep.
I'm a utilitarian, pragmatic person in that regard. So, but I my youngest is 30, so it was a different world when I started saving for their college.
That's correct.
But in this world today, what would I do? I would have something. If you'd have asked me 4 years ago, I would have said fully fund college. So I have shifted.
Right. But as you've pointed out accurately, and I can attest to this, is what I'm seeing and reading every day and talking to callers on the phone on the Ken Coleman Show. Look, the fact of the matter is that 529 can go towards certifications and other non-4-year degree things that are just as valuable for the kid.
You want to go get maxed out on your Microsoft certs so you can go into technology?
Yeah.
You can go that route
This
too.
is your future fund.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be traditional college. However, 529 pays for a lot of qualifications, and it is a good expectation to put out there. I think that's great.
Yeah, and it just there's something that says in our family. How many people have you ever talked to that say, "My mom was a teacher, so our family valued education."
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
Question.
And so I had to go. I felt like I needed to get an education, and that served that mentality serves you well. Versus you don't need to go to school. You just be one of them stuck-up college boys. If you grew up in that house,
right?
Then you have a different view on the power of knowledge.
That's right.
And knowledge is powerful.
It is.
It opens doors. It causes your brain to reshape and see things you've never seen before and do things you've never done before.
Yes.
And what got you there won't get you here. What got you here won't get you there, or however you say it. If you had good knowledge, you could say that correctly. but
that's right. you're setting an expectation that in order to do something, you're going to have to learn something and you're going to have to get some experience, and you need a plan for this. It's really what you're great at. It's really, I think, what you're really known for. You're a legend when it comes to when a plan works. It changes the game. And planning. And that's what you're putting a seed in the minds of their kids. There's a plan.
Yeah, you're putting a groove in your brain.
Yeah.
This is the way things are.
Yeah.
And you need to do it to yourself. You trick yourself into winning habits.
Yeah, that's right.
James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. I mean, same thing, right? This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
Ken is one of the few people that knows that I have a PhD in DUMB. I have done stupid with zeros on the end. I know what it looks like. I'm so dumb, I had to become a millionaire twice, which proves that it can be done. I could do it twice. Surely you can do it once, and I can show you exactly how. We do this with the baby steps. We've shown people how to become millionaires. We've been teaching this stuff for 30 years, and the number of people that show up out in the lobby that I meet that are millionaires now because they followed the baby steps, and they've been doing it 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years in some cases, and it wasn't get rich quick, and it was slow and steady, and it wasn't sexy, and sometimes their family made fun of them, but now they're millionaires. We call them baby steps millionaires. And I started becoming concerned that people didn't believe they could do it. And our thing around here is hope. Your thing is hope on getting a job and a career that has purpose. Our thing on hope is, not only can you get out of debt, and you should, but the only reason to do that is so that you can become wealthy, so that you can change your family tree, and so that you can be outrageously generous. There's a so that. Yeah. And hope is a big deal. So when people start losing their hope, or other people start trying to steal your hope with a negative narrative, then it's our job around here to punch that thing in the face. And so I haven't done a book in 8 years, but I decided to do one. It's called Baby Steps Millionaires: How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth and How You Can Too. And I systematically go through and show you how to do it, and I defeat all the arguments that you can't do it. So after you read this book, there's no freaking excuses. That's simple. Is it some stuff Dave Ramsey said before? Of course. I'm a one-trick pony. I only know how to do one thing. So, of course, you're going to hear stuff you heard before. No question about it. But if you want to pre-order this book, it's $20. It comes out in January, and we're going to throw in about over $100 and some odd dollars worth of items with it. The Baby Steps Millionaire audiobook and ebook, the Legacy Journey audiobook and ebook, the Baby Steps Millionaire live stream in January, a free filing with Ramsey Smart Tax for your federal income tax, and a Ramsey Plus free trial for 30 days to get into Financial Peace University. Get started on your baby steps with your every dollar budgeting app. The whole thing all goes together, and you get, we're going to ship you what we can right now, and the rest of it will come to you in January when the book comes out, all $20 at RamseySolutions.com. Eric is in San Antonio. Hey, Eric, what's up in your world?
Not too much. Working. I'm I'm late to a meeting. Hope it doesn't cost me my job. That would be sad, wouldn't it? Call you guys and have that happen.
Well, if it happens, just let Ken Coleman know. He'll help you get another.
Yeah, I'll get you a better one that pays you more anyway, so don't sweat it.
Listen, I listen to you guys driving home, and there's so much work around here. I can't believe anybody can't find a job. You know, it's out there. Hey, quick question. I'm 55. My wife is 42. I'm retired military. I've been very bad about saving money up until the last 10 years, and I've been trying to play catch up. I'm saving a lot now. Well, what I feel is a lot. I have a house in Oklahoma that's paid for. I'm on a 15-year mortgage here. I owe $200,000, maybe $198,000, and I'm trying to decide: do I sell that house now and pay as much as I can? It's only worth about $130,000. I thought I might have said that. Or do I wait till I'm ready to retire? Because I got 4 kids, 2 of them are pretty young, and I want my house paid for before I kick the bucket. You know what I mean? That needs to be off the plate.
It's pretty simple for me. Okay, if you had the house in Oklahoma is worth $130,000. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
If you had $130,000 piled in the middle of your table and you did not own a house in Oklahoma, Cash Benjamin's looking at you in the face, would you pay it down on your house, or would you go buy a rental property in Oklahoma? That's an easy answer.
Well, yeah, it's an easy answer.
Sell it.
That's easy. Okay. All right. Well, that was my main question.
Yeah, that's why, because all the reasons that you would sell it, all the reasons you wouldn't go buy it again is why you sell it. You're a landlord in Oklahoma by default, not by plan. And so time to undo the default. And it's just convenience is the only reason you own it. And it's not even convenient. It's freaking in Oklahoma. So, yeah, sell it. Sell it. I love rental property that's paid for. It's a wonderful thing to have, and I'd like for you to have some of that someday as part of your portfolio if you want to. But in your case, I'm getting my house paid off.
And and you know this, we hear this day in and day out on the show. When he does that and takes a big chunk, $130,000 on that house, it is going to fast forward everything because the momentum he's going to feel. You talk about a great high going towards a big long-term goal. I think he pays it off faster than he can possibly imagine with that one big chunk that gets him started.
Yeah, when you can see how quickly you can pay it off after it's gone. You know this intellectually, but it's weird emotionally that when you're actually going, wait a minute, I only have that left. Hey, and you reach over and you run to the finish line even though you're already out of breath.
That's right.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Pretty amazing. Bill is with us in Rochester, New York. Hi, Bill. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave and Ken. How's it going?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I'm 26, almost 27 years old. I've got a brand new house that we purchased in December of last year. Through my work, I've been fortunate to do pretty well in my profession, where I've got a significant amount of commission, bonuses, and other items that are being paid out to me over the course of this next year. So my question being, we're in a position where we can completely pay off our mortgage by December 1st of 2022.
Awesome!
Yeah. So really just I've kind of heard conflicting opinions from everybody that I've talked in this question, so figured I'd come right to the top. Whether or not I should be putting that all and paying off the mortgage, or if I should be looking to take that money and invest it into other avenues.
Well, the position I answer that from is this position. 30 years of teaching people how to become wealthy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And all of the evidence that I have in front of me, including the largest study of millionaires ever done in North America, done by Ramsey Research, in detail, airtight research, all of the evidence says the fastest way to become wealthy is to become debt-free and free up your most powerful wealth-building tool, which is your income.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what happens. It's hard to breathe in right now, but this time next year, you're going to breathe it in. When you don't have a payment in the world,
mm-hmm.
you analyze your career track differently. You make different decisions on vacations. You make different decisions on a car purchase. You make different decisions on generosity. And all of those things increase the speed at which you build wealth. I was going to say probability, but the probability is 100%. But the speed at which you build wealth, because there's something inside your soul that relaxes When you walk out in the backyard at Christmas next year and the grass is yours because you paid it off, and take off your shoes, even if it's cold, you're going to feel different. And that's an intangible that ends up reflecting in the mathematics long term. Does that make sense to you?
Yep. Yeah, no, exactly.
And in other words, you know the number of people that panicked during the pandemic because they had a big honking house payment and freaked out and did stupid butt stuff, or took a job they hated, or made a bad decision because they had to make a payment? So you really can't put a mathematical figure to stupid. But the panic caused people to be stupid. And I panicked and been stupid, right? So I know how it feels. I'm not making fun of somebody. But the difference in that versus the guy who's sitting there, or the gals who's sitting there with a paid-for home, and they get ready to do a job change, and they make a different, they look different in the interview.
Oh, well.
You walk into you carry your shoulders different in the interview when you don't have a house payment.
Yes, but even before that, you actually look at things that you're afraid to look at when you got a bunch of debt. You see opportunity and you go, wait, there's actually no real risk here at all. I'm not going to be living under a bridge because I change lanes and go after the work that I really want to do. It does change everything. Makes us, gives us bigger perspective, gives us way more courage. It is a game changer.
Peace. Solid foundation to build.
Filters everything.
Financial peace. Two words that don't go together with, like Fauci math. This is the Ramsey Show. Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225 on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. Brittany is with us. Hi, Brittany. How are you?
I'm good. Excited to be here.
Well, we're honored to have you. Where do you live?
I live in Findlay, Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Very cool. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
And all the way down here to do a debt-free scream.
Yes, sir.
How much did you pay off?
$42,000.
All right. How long did that take?
About 16 months.
16?
Yes, 16
months.
Cool.
And your range of income during that 16 months?
It was about $45,000, and it jumped up to $58,000.
Wow, nice jump. What do you do for a living?
I am a shipping administrator.
A what?
Shipping administrator.
Oh, okay.
I do a lot of paperwork.
Okay, cool. I think I'm deaf today. All right, so what kind of debt was your $42,000?
It was all student loans.
All right, got rid of Sally Mae.
Yes.
Give her eviction notice. Put the old woman on the street. Way to go. How long you been out of school?
About a year and a half.
Okay, so you got out of school and decided to attack this straight up.
Yep.
How did you connect up with us? What made you believe that this was doable?
So it was about 3 years ago. My sister and mom took Financial Peace University. And so they told me a little bit about you. But I was just looking on YouTube, and it was about a year and a half ago is when I started. But that's when I got serious. I started watching your videos and got serious. And I'm like, I'm just going to do this. And
all right.
Yep.
Very, very cool. Well, congratulations. So you come out of school and say, all right, Mom and Sis did this. It's worth it. I don't want this $42,000 hanging around my neck. I'm going to knock it out.
Yes.
You went crazy, girl. You did it in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So what caused your income to jump up?
A lot of overtime. And I also did Instacart grocery deliveries on the side.
Mm-hmm. Was that profitable? Was it worth doing?
Yeah. Only because I could do that with my daughter.
Oh, okay.
So I would work my 50, 55 hours a week and then take her with me and do some grocery deliveries.
Okay. So you've been hustling and grinding.
Yes.
Way to go. Way to go. That makes it especially sweet when you're free then.
It sure does.
Yeah, and you don't have to take the OT, and you don't have to take the Instacart, and you're free.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow. So besides all the crazy hours, because you really worked hard, and it's a testament to you, what was one of the hardest things about this journey of knocking it out?
Probably, like, I didn't go out to eat at all. And
Well, you didn't have time. You were working all the time.
And no Starbucks coffees. That was probably my hardest thing. But I would, like, every 2 weeks, I would buy myself a coffee. So I didn't completely deprive myself.
Oh, now that's a very interesting. So, what would you say to other people about that little bit of a treat every once in a while? I wouldn't call it a cheat, but a little treat. What did that do for you?
It just, I don't know. It helped me, I think.
Because you said, hey, it was worth it, but now I get back to sacrificing again.
Yes.
You're working much. You need some strong coffee.
I'm telling you. It's almost like juice.
You're
just
a machine, girl. Yeah. You got after it. You are hot. Man, you're getting it. So did you grow up with a family that has that kind of work ethic? I mean, what made you turn it on like that? Because you turned it on.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from my parents. They're pretty good workers. But what helped me, I saved about 10 grand and I threw all that towards it. And I think that kind of took away a little bit of it from the start. But then, let's see. I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Definitely the budget and just sticking with the budget. It sounds simple, but it's really that simple. It's just the self-discipline to follow it.
Yeah, you just laid out the plan and then hustle and grind and push the plan through as fast as you can. Yes. And then I can step back and have a coffee. Yeah.
Exactly, a coffee.
Very good.
Expensive coffee.
So now that you're free, what do you want to do?
I don't even know. I haven't really even thought about it. I don't know. There's just so much to do, and I want to help people. So, like, the more money I make, the more people I can help. And I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's hard to help people when you're broke. It's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, it gives you a tool to help people with. That's really about all it's good for, actually. This money, this thing called money. But yeah, so very, very well done. How old is your daughter?
She is 7.
All right. Did she come with you?
She sure did.
All right. We're going to get her in the debt-free scream here. What's her name?
Her name is Kira.
Kira. All right. 7-year-old Kira.
Yes.
So Kira's been on a really, this has been a tough year for her because Mom's been gone a lot.
Yeah.
And she got to go on a lot of Instacart rides.
She sure did.
Yeah. Didn't hurt her either. So she's old enough that she will remember the price Mom paid to get rid of her student loans and have a free life for the two of you. So very, very well done. You're a noble lady. I'm proud of you. You're a rock star. You're a hero. Very, very cool stuff. We got a copy of the Baby Steps Millionaire book, which comes out in January, but you get an early copy because you're here and I know a guy. Cool. So we're going to hook you up, and because I think you're going to be a Baby Steps Millionaire. I think she's going to be one pretty quick.
And to that end, I would like to give her a copy of From Paycheck to Purpose so she can really, now that she's debt-free, begin to figure out who are those people she wants to help and how can she do it and make really good money in the process. And we'll get that shovel even bigger for you. So we're going to give you that
Thank
too.
You.
We'll load you up with that and a Total Money Makeover book too. So you're going to leave here with so many books you're not going to know what to do. And you can give away the Total Money Makeover book and read the other two. That'll be perfect because you know how to do this stuff. Very, very well done, Brittany.
Thank you.
All right, Brittany and Kira from Toledo, Ohio, $42,000, Findlay, Ohio, $42,000 paid off in 16 months, making 45 to 58. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
I love it. Woohoo! Very, very cool. Well, that young lady can do anything.
Oh, no stopping her.
She's got a dadgum Superman cape tucked back there. And she's got the ability to step in and do anything. And just so unassuming about it. It's no nonplus. It's just what you do.
Yeah, that's what I did.
This is what you do. Yeah. No big deal.
Well, you see that beautiful little Kira next to her, just, kind of shining bright, and you see the motivation for any parent, but certainly a single mama. What I love about Brittany's story is a lot of single moms that heard that story, and if you don't think you can do it, Brittany says otherwise.
Making $45,000. Okay, I'm gonna take on OT and Instacart, get it up to 58.
42.
That's $13,000 of the 42. 10 went towards it. That left 32, and the overtime picked up, and then the tight budget, and they did it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is real.
It is.
Those are real numbers. Those are tough 16 months right there.
No question. And Kira sat there and watched Mama do it. And I don't know if there's a greater legacy.
It's embedded. She can't lose that. It's part of her life now. It's part of her heritage.
Yeah.
So she's a hero. That's just beautiful. Beautiful and well done. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. All right, Julia from Instagram says, Ken, I love my job, but it doesn't pay enough to get me out of debt. Do I keep the job I love or start looking for something else?
Keep it for the moment while we start looking for something else. We're going to replace that job pretty darn quick, but I don't want you to leave it until we have something better to step into, because the reality is it's no sense in you having any interruption in income. None at all, certainly when we are in
But what about
debt.
the part where she loves her job?
It doesn't matter. She can love another job that pays even more.
There you go.
People think there's a trade-off. That if I love this job,
I'm not allowed to make good money at something I love.
Or that I'll never love another one.
Quite the opposite.
Right.
Yeah,
so here's what we do. Here's what we teach. Very simple formula. For Julia, for anybody else that hears that question. If you are doing work that you're really good at, that's your talent, you're doing work that you really love, she's identified that already, and that work is creating a result that she connects to, that's how we know, ding, 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 this is also a job that I will love. I would add one other element to that is make sure it's a healthy culture, good place where the people value you. That's how you know. No risk. She can step right into another job she loves that pays her way more.
Yep. You don't have to leave a job you love for a job you hate. You could leave a job you love for a job you love. That's a false premise. Yeah. This is the Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. This is the Ramsey Show. Anna is in Sacramento. Hi, Anna. How are you?
My heart is beating. Hi.
Hey. You'll be okay. We've never lost a patient. What's up?
So I just wanted, encouragement or advice. So we moved here to Sacramento area from Spokane, Washington, about 5 years ago, and we're baby step 3B. But it seems like we finally have a good down payment, $200K, but the prices have shot up to where, if we buy a decent house, it's not going to be 25% of our take-home pay. And so we've been driving our kiddos to a school about half an hour away from where we live now because, we live in a bit of a cheaper part of town. We've been doing that for a couple of years, and I don't know. It's just the gas prices are going up, everything is going up, and we're just kind of playing catch up and trying to do the right thing. And I don't know if we should just bite the bullet and buy a house super expensive, or should we keep on saving? What should we do?
Well, the reason that we have the guidelines we teach in place, and you're familiar with all of them, obviously, be out of debt, have an emergency fund before you buy. That's why what you described with baby step 3B, where you're saving for your down payment. We don't want you to buy a house with debt because it's going to give you trouble. The reason we've got all of these guidelines, like for instance that, or 25% of your take-home pay is the max you ought to have in payment, is because we want you to win long-term. And so let's just say that you said, okay, based on this situation, math doesn't apply because I live in California, ha ha ha, right? And so I'm going to go buy a house that's 40% of my take-home pay. Well, you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to struggle because you just tightened your budget up so tight you can't move.
Yeah.
You can't breathe. You're going to be house poor. And you're going to, all of a sudden, you're not going to have the money to save up to buy the next car, and you're going to get car debt. And you're not going to have the money to do this, and you're going to end up with debt on that. You're not going to have the money to do that, and you're going to end up with debt on that. And that's what happens when people get house poor. And you're going to cycle right back in and end up being a normal broke person. And you don't want to be a normal broke person.
Right.
So it's not like Dave just made up these nasty rules or something. They're for you.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, should we go ahead and buy a cheaper house and continue the 30-minute commute, even though the gas price, I mean, it's like almost $4 a gallon. Like, I'm waiting for the prices of the houses to go down because supposedly everybody's leaving California, but
I thought they were going to too, but they're not. They may, but it's going to be a while longer. So, there's not a hugely wrong answer here. If you want to rent for a couple more years and see what this market shakes out a little bit, it could. There could be enough of an exodus to actually affect the market. It hasn't yet.
Yeah, no, it's going the opposite way. It's going up.
And real estate in general does not go down. Sometimes it slows how much it goes up, but in general it doesn't go down. And so, you want to rent a little bit more and then make your purchase, or do you want to buy now and ride the wave up with the values and then make another move in 3 years? You could do that, and because your house that you're living in will increase in value unless the market shakes out. I mean, if you bought a house today, unless California real estate goes down because of the exodus, then you're going to be okay. You'll make some money on it, and you can move up later after you've saved some more. And at least you're at least you're in on the ownership game, right? That's probably what we would do. The gas price thing is irrelevant.
Yeah. I'm just curious, Anna, where's that coming from? You keep mentioning gas price? Somebody else talking to you about that, using that as a good excuse, or is that something that's just really freaking you out in the monthly budget?
A monthly budget, it's just, so I drive them 30 minutes to school, and then I drive 30 minutes back home, and then at the end, it's an hour round trip every time.
Twice
a day,
that gets
5
old.
days a week.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Can you rent?
Been doing it
can you rent closer to the school affordably?
Not affordably, no. Okay. It's crazy.
And if you bought, what would be the percentage of your income on a 15-year fixed? Over by the school.
So it would be 35-ish, 35. Our take home is $12K. Yeah. If we bought a livable house, I mean, on a 15-year,
25 is a guideline to keep people from doing 40 and 50. So it doesn't mean you can't do 27, or something like that. And so if you can, if you stretch it a little bit, knowing that your income is coming up, if you know your income's coming up, I haven't asked you about that, but if your incomes are trending upward at a good pace, not just 3% a year, but they're there. And the only thing we know about gas prices is they're going to change. I mean, 2 years ago they were half, and and then they'll change again, and then they'll change again. So, not the first time we've had $5 gas while I've been on the air.
Yeah. I hear this, and I hear the hour, 2 hours a day, essentially is what we're talking about. And, education for your kids, you've been very intentional about where they're going to school, obviously. I think this is one of those deals where, just like the stories we hear of people that are paying off debt or people that lose tremendous amount of weight, you have to keep the finish line at the top of your mind and save it a little bit more, right? Save it a little bit more, sacrificing a little bit. In that time, it stinks.
Or buy the worst house in that neighborhood over there.
Yeah, but soon you're not going to have that commute. And I think you let that drive you, but keep your eye on the finish line.
If you buy the worst house in that other neighborhood, instead of just looking at the average house in that other neighborhood, then you get over really close to the school and you do it at 26 or 27% or something like that. That's not the end of the world. Yep. The point is not the exact percentage. It's not like 24.7 is the number, and if you go over that, you're screwed. It's not. The point is, don't have so much house payment that you can't breathe. And have justified that because I live in California, or I need to be in this certain neighborhood, or I need to do that. And well, you don't understand. You can't. Yeah, I do understand. Math works everywhere. I do understand. And so just don't rationalize yourself into a dadgum mess. And that, if you avoid that, you'll be okay. And because it's an emotional thing when you're driving an hour each way and you're dealing with your kids' issues and you're dealing with that, it's all emotion. And if you're not careful, every time I get emotional and I make stupid decisions. So don't do that. Twyla is with us in Minneapolis. Twyla, we're short on time. Ask your question right fast.
Okay, so thank you for taking my call. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I have the opportunity to take some travel RN positions that would be twice my income. But I love my job. I really could stay here until I retire. So I'm just kind of in a predicament. I'm not sure if it's worth doing it. If I did jump on the travel nurse train, I could have my debt paid off in 7 months versus right now I'm at about 15.
All right. Next question for me then is, could you come back into the practicing role if you took a season and you were in the travel nurse role? So let's say you did it for a year, year and a half, 2 years, and then came back. Would that be a pretty easy transition back?
It would be easy to come back into the family nurse practitioner role, just probably not like where I work right now.
Yeah. I think you got to weigh this. I think you're going to get out of debt faster, but what's the trade-off? And if you're only taking the travel nurse job just to juice,
and you hate it,
yeah, then I probably wouldn't do it. I would be patient, which is hard, and stay in the job you love, knowing that you are going to get out of debt.
If you instead are not hating it and you're going, I love this idea. It sounds like an adventure. I'm going to go do it for 2 years, and then I'm going to come back and work it out. And I'll be debt-free, and I will have had an adventure. And if you see it that way, like, I want to travel Europe after I graduate from college before I take a job. If you look at it that way, then, yeah, go do it.
Yeah.
It's probably not something you're signing up for 20 years.
Yeah. I think she could find something else she loves as a practitioner. I'd do it and get that emergency fund knocked out, too. Fast.
You mean come back
later? Yeah.
I'd do it, but only if there's a sense of adventure, not a sense of dread.
That's right.
This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Joe is in San Antonio. Hi, Joe. How can we help?
Hi there. How's it going?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I'm getting married to a girlfriend of 5 years this coming spring.
Good for you.
And we're both completely debt free. She's about to graduate college, and
awesome. How old are you guys?
Both 19. I'm turning 20 in a couple of days.
Wonderful.
And I just wanted to know if it would be a good idea to gift her $6,000 to fund her IRA for this year.
No.
Before we're actually combining finances and married.
No.
No?
Nope. It will change the tenor and the tone of your unmarried relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You're a guy and you're thinking in math terms. I'm an old guy who's been married 40 years and has done a whole lot of stupid butt stuff that I didn't know I was stupid when I was doing it, that affected the tenor and the tone of my relationship. And I've had to go back and clean up a lot of it. But no. To you, it's just a math problem. To her, it's a power play.
Okay.
Maybe. I might be severe or melodramatic in that. It could affect the way her dad feels. Could affect the way her mom feels. It might change the way you sit in a chair when you're discussing wedding budgets. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
You've compartmentalized this as a simple mathematical thing over here to the side, which is a very smart mathematical thing, by the way. You came up with a really good idea, but you did not factor in all the negative relational possible consequences, and it ain't worth it, dude. You're 19 years old. You got the rest of your freaking life to get rich, and you're going to be so rich, it's going to be unbelievable, and none of it will be because you pre-funded your fiance before you were married's retirement plan when you were 19 years old. That didn't cause you to be rich. What caused you to be rich is you're smart enough to even ask this question when you're this age.
Yeah, pretty simple. There's no upside at all. Just wait.
Well, there's an upside. It's math.
Yeah.
The math upside's huge.
Well, yeah, but there's no relational upside. That's what
relational
you're saying.
downside.
So that means that there's no upside. So wait until you get married, and then you fully fund her once you guys get rolling. And to their point, they're 19. He's going to be 20. I mean, my goodness. Or he is 20. She's 19. So, yeah, just stay out of it. I love the question. You know, I love that he's thinking about it.
It shows he's paying attention.
Yes.
God, if I was 19 and I paid attention, where would I be now?
Isn't that the truth?
Well, I did pay attention, but it wasn't a smart thing.
To the right things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, gave a lot of attention to the wrong things. I was enthusiastically stupid. An enthusiastic ignoramus. But yeah, that's yeah, dude, you're very smart. It's a very smart and intellectual and good math question, and mathematically it would be a beautiful move, but the offside is not worth it. And something happens and you got a problem. So, good question. Thank you for joining us. Hey, let me grow on that just a little bit, Ken, because we've got a ton of folks, young folks in our audience who are pre-married. Let's call them pre-married. They hadn't gotten married yet. And when you pay someone's bills that you're not married to and you're not unified with contractually in a covenant, in a spiritual relationship, you change the tenor of that. The old joke is if you loan your brother-in-law $100 and he never speaks to you again, was it worth it? You know, that's the old joke, because it changes when you loan people money, when you give people money, it changes the chemistry. Now, the better the person, the more noble the intent, the less obvious the change is. But it does change it. And I'm old, and I've done this a long time, and so I've seen all the negative things. Like, we had a guy one time, he paid off a whole bunch of his fiance's debt, and then they bought a house together before they were married, and then she died in a car wreck before they were married. Now he owns a house with his fiance's mother. And his fiance's mother, the estate of his fiance, owes him money.
Wow.
For the debt that he paid off. Or he loses all that money. Either one. I mean, it was tragedy upon tragedy upon tragedy. And so, obviously, the death in a car wreck was an unspeakable tragedy. And Dave, you're talking about money in the middle of something like that. No, I'm just talking about in the middle of an unspeakable tragedy, we've got more layers to the problem rather than just the tragedy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you do not want to be owning a house with your mother-in-law that was never your mother-in-law.
No.
Because you never got married.
Yeah, and again, all the intentions are good, but it's so important that you keep everything separate until you get into that married union, and now it's we, and just, you're right. It change. You know what it does? It creates a little bit of leverage, and I think you're right. A mature person, a healthy person won't use that leverage
intentionally.
But boy, the leverage is there. It absolutely is there.
I'm pretty emotionally mature, pretty spiritually mature. I've been doing this stuff a long time, but if I give $10,000 to something, it changes my, and it was a generous gift, and I don't have an expectation of You know, when I walk in the room, you bow down 3 times or something like that. I don't have anything like that. But then if they, you know, they I don't know, slight you in a conversation.
Yeah.
You're $10,000 worth or more offended.
That's the truth. It's exactly what's going on.
You cannot keep that from happening because it's human nature, and I'm aware of it. I teach it. I've written books about this stuff. But then I find myself in that. It's not that I demand respect or I'm some kind of arrogant butthole or something like that. That's not the point. That's not. But you know, I've given X numbers of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to this thing, and then you go in there and they act like you're not there. That's pretty stupid, but but you know, from just a development standpoint,
Sure.
But aside from that, it's just human nature to say, "Gosh, they didn't even say thank you."
Yes.
You know, like I have a relative who, if you don't send a thank you note, she'll call you. Where's my thank you note?
Oh.
You know, and I get
Seems
that
healthy.
because she's old school.
Right.
Manners, Mrs. Manners, the book. You know, you should have manners and say thank you. But that comes with the gift, right? And so it's human nature. Human nature. It changes relationships. The transfer of money does. You can't keep it from happening. The borrower is slave to the lender. This is the Ramsey Show. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Just a few days to Christmas. It's hard to think about, isn't it?
Crazy.
It's like Halloween was just here and now Christmas is here. I mean, it's really right here. You just got a minute.
Did you get something for me yet?
Yeah.
You didn't see that one coming.
It's coming in the it's coming in your paycheck envelope.
Oh, okay. I'm excited about that.
It's coming with your company Christmas party.
Every once in a while, I like to just keep you guessing.
What'd you get me, Ken? What'd you get me?
Well, you know, Stacy always gets it.
Yeah.
You know that to be true.
Stacy and Sharon may take care of each other.
They're
But you and me
amazing.
are up a creek.
That's what
all
they say. She goes, "Hey, we bought Dave and Sharon something." And it ends up it's just for Sharon. Because Stacy picked it out. Guys don't think about stuff like that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be that hard. You could give Financial Peace University, not to Ken or me. We've had it.
Yeah.
But if you want to plan for your money and you want some confidence so that Christmas doesn't sneak up on you next year, by the way, they don't move it, you can learn a step-by-step plan on how to get out of debt, how to save money, how to build wealth, how to be outrageously generous. And then you'd have money to buy Ken a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
If you were that way, see? And the average family going through this class saves $2,700 and pays off $5,300. That's an $8,000 change in position in the first 90 days. That's an average.
Wow, that's tremendous.
It's a good rate of return. Right now, Financial Peace University is available as a part of your Ramsey Plus membership. You do not have to go through a stressed out Christmas like this. You don't have to live like this. Make 2022 the year you finally start winning with money, or give Financial Peace University as a gift. Just RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Jessica is in Phoenix. Hi, Jessica. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi.
Hi, what's up?
Hello. So my husband and I are trying to build a house. We figure it'll cost about $155,000. We have $50,000 in the bank.
Great.
I have the opportunity to borrow about $70,000 from my family. And so my question is, I know you don't like family debt, so I'm wondering if that's the way to go.
No, don't like family debt.
Okay.
And the reason is what we were just talking about before the break, that it's, it changes the relationship. It changes everything. Odd that your call would come right after that, but almost like you had to sit there and listen to that, right? But so what would be wrong with just going and getting a construction loan for the $100,000?
From my understanding, well, a couple problems. One, I understand they're pretty high rates. And then two, we're going to build it ourselves, and I don't think anyone will lend to us because we are not.
You're going to struggle with that. That's true. You'd have to get a general contractor to come alongside you, and you'd have to have an approved set of plans. But you probably ought to have that anyway. The contractor doesn't have to make a big fee. They could just be the supervising contractor, and that'll help you get the construction loan. Besides that, you don't have enough if you only borrow $70,000 from your parents, and that means they don't have enough to be loaning you money because they don't have enough to do this deal.
Not the whole thing, no.
Yeah, you're taking their last dime. There's stress all over this. Stress all over it. Stress everywhere here. So no, I would go to the local bank, and you're gonna be required to get pre-approved for a mortgage for the final loan amount when it's completed, which it sounds like will be $100,000 or so, and that bank might approve you for the permanent mortgage and the other, and then you're going to have to convince them with the aid of a supervising contractor, and here's a qualified set of plans. You can't just go in with stuff drawn up on the back of a paper bag.
No, we've got plans already.
Okay. You got full-on set of plans, and you bid them out with subs, and you show that you know what you're doing, and you show that the contractor is overseeing this, and you can get that. You can get that construction loan, and that way your family's not stressed out.
Okay. I don't know if a contractor would take that on because we don't plan to sub out for any of it.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Said a contractor has to supervise. And you will have to get approvals for codes on electrical,
right? Yeah,
on
plans,
plumbing.
Building plans. Yep.
Yeah, how are you going to get that if you sub out everything? You're not.
If what?
You got to sub that out, or you're not going to get code approval because you're not licensed plumbers.
Well, you don't have to have it. You just have to have it inspected, and it has to pass the inspection. You don't have to. So as long as it passes inspection, you have to have certain inspections as the process goes along.
Okay. So then the contractor wouldn't take you can find a general contractor. They're not everywhere because everybody's busy right now, but you can find somebody with a GC license who you pay a flat fee just to put their name on this as the supervising contractor.
Okay.
And if you have the knowledge to actually build a house, you probably have the knowledge to find that GC.
Okay.
And just pay them $2,000 to be your GC, and they don't do anything except put their name on it. But they go with you to the bank. They approve. They say, I'm supervising this, and if they want to walk over there as a matter of integrity and check it 3 times, but you need to have a plan for building this house in very short order too. Don't enter into something that takes 5 years to build. That's not what you're talking about, right?
No.
How fast are you going to get this thing out of the ground and get it finished?
I think a year and a half once we break ground.
Okay. So when is he going to be working at his job?
My husband? I'm going to build it.
You're going to build it?
The kind of construction we're doing is something that I can do.
You're doing the plumbing. You're doing the electrical.
Yep.
You're putting on the roof.
Yep. We have a brother-in-law that's going to help us with the electrical. My husband will have to help when we do the roof, but nearly everything else.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've got construction experience?
No.
Okay. And you're going to plumb this house?
Yep.
What, off a YouTube video? I don't understand.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty handy.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being handy and constructing a house. This could turn into a 4.5-year build at this rate.
I admire your confidence and your sense of adventure, but everything you're saying is scaring the crap out of me.
Yeah.
This is scary. So you do whatever you want to do. You're a grown-up girl. But this sounds like a project that you're going to call me up in 10 years and go, I'm still screwing with this thing. Because the YouTube video didn't tell me about this. And there's a lot. This is fraught with danger. So definitely don't use family money. Definitely. Because you're pulling them into your dream that may be a nightmare. Definitely don't use family money. That seals the deal for me. In translation, because I care about you, and I'm just going to tell you the truth, I think you're biting off more than you know how to chew. And I've built many houses. I own several $100 million worth of real estate. The building we're sitting in right now, the building complex is 400,000 square feet. Somewhere around $200 million worth of buildings just in this one project. And so it's not like don't have any clue what I'm talking about here. And let me tell you how much of the plumbing I did. None. Okay? None. And it's not because I'm some stupid rich guy. But I walk the property. I walked the property we're building on the other day, right now, and just going up there and looking at the footings going in on a thing. And so I grew up in this business, and you're scaring me for you. You're not going to affect me, but you're scaring me for you. And everybody's listening is going, So you be careful, Jessica. Be careful. I'm not trying to tell you to not live your dream. I just don't want your dreams to be a nightmare. This is harder than it looks. So, wow.
And way more expensive. It's not just the execution piece. It's the expenses.
It is the real estate. Building a house is a little bit like business. There's the 3 rules, It's going to take twice as long as you thought. It's going to cost twice as much as you thought, and you're not the exception. Those are the 3 rules. It's not quite that bad with real estate, but it does take longer than you thought, especially in this world. It does cost more than you thought, and it is more difficult than you thought, and you're not the exception.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
All right, welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, and we are here today. Dave Ramsey with me in studio, and I look across in the lobby, and what do I see? A beautiful couple on the debt-free stage. Andrew and Alexis joining us. How are you?
We're great. Good. How are you?
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, I'm having a blast. So tell us where you're from.
We are from Valonia, Arkansas.
All right, Valonia, Arkansas, all the way here to do a debt-free screen.
Yes, sir.
All right, tell us the details. How much did you pay off?
$101,000.88.
Okay,
all
and
right.
How long did that take?
About 16 months.
Good for you.
16 months.
And what was your range of income during that time?
We started the end of 2019, and I think we made probably $130,000 in 2019. But for 2020, we made around $167,000.
So the pandemic was good to you.
It was very good to us.
Yeah. At least financially.
Yes.
Okay. What do y'all do for a living?
I am a registered nurse supervisor for the state of Arkansas.
This is where you went nuts, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I own a cab service in Conway.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah. Both very busy. What kind of debt was the $101,000?
Surprisingly, none of it was student loans. It was 2 credit cards, 2 vehicles, and a 4-wheeler.
Y'all were normal.
We were very, very normal.
How long you been married?
5 years. I think. 5 years.
5 or 6.
5
She
years.
says with a question in her voice.
Of course, he's looking at her going, I don't know.
I'm just here. I'm just here because you told me to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fun. All right. And so, but something happened 2 years ago.
Well, Andrew kept coming home with spreadsheets telling me that I was spending all of our money. So we had to figure something out.
Okay, Andrew, talk about this. Tell me what's going on here.
Well, she's got a shopping problem.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. I guess she just got tired of those spreadsheets, and she started listening to you, and then she put me on to you.
Oh.
And I think we were listening to your Total Money Makeover when we were going up to our cabin. And we just listened to it, and it hit you right in the mouth, actually, or it hit me in the mouth, for sure.
Okay. So Alexis, so he's coming home with spreadsheets, but you found us.
Correct.
Tell me about this.
I just was tired of feeling guilty and tired of getting talked to. So I was like, I got to figure something out, so maybe I can have some spending money because we were drowning in payments. So I found you guys on Spotify from your podcast and started listening, and then I bought an audiobook version of the Total Money Makeover.
Okay, and that's the cabin ride.
Yes.
And I punched you in the mouth, as she said. So.
Correct.
So I got to know, Dave, before we go any further. So, Andrew, you're bringing all these spreadsheets. Was there a lot of tension here, or were you just kind of passive about it, real gentle, or were you kind of intense? I mean, I need to know.
I mean, it kind of went both ways.
Okay.
There's certain times to be passive about it, and then there's times that you just got to put your foot down and they're like, hey, this is what's going on. Living paycheck to paycheck is just not my way of living. I didn't grow up with a whole lot of money, so I always wanted something more, and that was a way of trying to do it. And
we make too much money to be this broke.
Correct.
Yeah, you both said that on the ride to the cabin. Okay, so that's the opportunity. You're listening to the audiobook, and that's the first time you actually both go, we're going to work on this.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. And then you came home and did a budget, or what'd you do?
Yes.
She did most of the work, actually.
I used EveryDollar, the EveryDollar app, and that's where we started. And we made a decision that, we keep our $1,000 for our emergency fund in the bank, and that's our cutoff. And at the end of our paycheck, whatever was left between the balance and the $1,000, that's what I put on our credit card, or that's what I put on our auto loan.
Working the debt snowball.
Correct.
Yeah, cut up the credit cards. Yeah.
Well, we did delete a whole lot of debt when we got rid of our 2 vehicles.
Yeah, we did sell our cars.
Oh, you sold both of them?
Yes.
Yeah. Whoa! What did they sell for?
Well, I had an Escalade, and he had a 3500 GMC.
Dually.
That one hurt. That one hurt. He got a 2015 Tundra, I think, for cash, and I did finance my Camry, but for less money than what we had originally owed, and it was more manageable, and it gave us more money to work with. But that loan's gone now.
And you got it paid off too.
Yes.
So, wow. Way to go, you guys. So you moved down in car substantially, both of you, and get on a budget and go crazy, and here you are. Was it worth it?
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Quick answer. That's a good answer.
No, they couldn't wait to answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would do it again and know you won't go back in debt.
Correct.
Yes.
Never again.
Never again.
Yeah, very good. All right, so when people look at you guys and go, y'all lost your dadgum mind. You sold these 2 great cars. Your friends probably thought you lost your ever-loving. Your mother thinks you need counseling. I mean, you got people thinking you're crazy, but you didn't care.
Well, my mom's actually a financial advisor for Edward Jones. So she was on board with the whole deal. She thought it was great.
Well, I was making that up. I didn't know.
Well, yeah. No, our family was really supportive. Our friends do think we're a little bit crazy, and whenever we would say no, to going to eat dinner here, go do this, or go on vacation. But I think most of them probably see the benefit now.
Yeah. So now they turn around and they ask you, how'd you do that? You pay off $101,000 in 16 months. How'd you do that? What do you tell them the key is?
Well, for us, it was originally going to take us probably closer to 3 years. But whenever Corona hit, we were uncertain of what would happen with his business. It was either we were going to get a payroll protection loan or we were probably going to fold. And so Andrew quit paying himself and went and got another job. So he was working a full-time job as well as owning his business and running it usually at nighttime. And then for me being a nurse, there were plenty of extra shifts to pick up. And then I also sold some other things, and so we made up the difference in the income that way. But where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, where there's a will, there's an extra job.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then the other thing with you guys that I think stands out, and we need to give it a word and say it out loud, is one of your keys to getting out of debt was contentment. You were content with lesser car.
Correct.
And both of you took a sizable drop in car in terms of not just money, but in terms of the, this massive, awesome Escalade, Camry, right? And you get rid of the cool truck, and, in your world, oh my gosh, it's awful. And, but you were saying, I want that more than I want to be out of debt more than I want that thing.
Yes.
Right, and I think a lot of it is that those things are just things, and without social media or things like that, who cares if you have the Escalator? Who cares if you have the 3500? You're doing that for show. And for what? Just for people to say, oh, they have that. But really you don't. The bank has that.
That's the pin in the balloon. Pop.
There you go. That's it.
Awesome.
That's a mic drop right there.
Unbelievable story.
Good stuff.
Really incredible. Wow. So real quick, we don't have much time. I want to get you to scream. What do you say is the key to folks? If you say there's one thing we did that we can transfer to others to win this battle.
Budget and be on the same page if you're married.
Yeah, you got to work as a team. If you don't work as a team, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, we got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That's the next chapter in your story. You're going to be one. It comes out January the 11th, but we have an early edition for you guys because you made the trip over here, and hand it to you here in just a few minutes. And a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away to friends. And maybe some of them will be asking about it. You never know. Way to go, you guys. I'm proud of you. You're heroes. You're heroes. You're amazing. Andrew and Alexis, Little Rock, Arkansas, $101,000 paid off in 16 months, making $130 to $167. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
You ready?
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! There it is. I love it. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 4:18-19. The path of the just is like the shining sun that shines ever brighter into the perfect day. The way of the wicked is like darkness. They do not know what makes them stumble. Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give." Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jack is with us in High Point, North Carolina. Hi, Jack. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave and Ken. Just want to say, Dave Ramsey, thank you. You changed my life and changing my legacy of my family because of you.
Well, thank you.
Kind of 2 points. I'm in a position right now where I've got some paid off real estate. I still have debt. We started out almost 10 years ago, Gonzale intense, but ran into some situations where taking care of my parents and mother-in-law, we bought their houses. We've been paying for their houses. We had about $120,000 worth of debt, over 80 in credit cards. And we've been killing it. My wife and I, we worked really hard. We're not in that fast get out of debt plan. We've been just working at it over the years. And so I'm at a point now where I've only got probably maybe around 14 in consumer debt of one type or another. We've got about a $1.4 million worth of assets and about $960,000 net worth. So I see the light. We see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's been an incredible journey.
Mm-hmm.
So we still got a ways to go, but what I've run into is the property that's paid off is a rental, and it's producing an income that we use to help pay for one of our parents' home.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to lose that. So I also want to protect it. So I'm in a position where I want to put it in a trust so I can leave it to my family, my kids. And I've looked at all these different trusts out there, revocable, irrevocable.
Why?
I'm just kind of lost.
Why does it need to be in a trust?
Where to put it.
Why does it need to be in a trust?
Okay, so that's where I need some guidance. So I don't want them to get a death and inheritance tax when I leave it to them, and I don't want them to get taxed to death with it. So I'm kind of looking for direction. So
how much is probate tax in North Carolina? Do you know?
It's probably going to be somewhere around $1 million, but we'll be leaving that. You know, I'm anticipating.
No.
When I die, leaving that.
You misunderstood me. Okay, you do not have any federal estate tax problems. You have an $11.7 million exemption for federal.
Okay.
So you don't have a federal estate tax problem. The only estate taxes you might have would be probate tax for the state of North Carolina, which I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Google it, Ken.
Oh, there we go.
And because I mean, a lot of states are like 3% or something. So it might be $30,000. You don't have an estate tax problem, I don't think, unless North Carolina's got some kind of outrageous, weird estate thing going on, which would shock me in North Carolina. But all this property's in North Carolina, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see here. The fee for estates in excess of $10,000 is $40 plus $4 per thousand. So it's 4%.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's nothing.
So I was about right. You have a 4% tax on $1 million, would be $40,000.
All right. So as focusing on eventually leaving that to my kids, what would be some words of wisdom as what I should focus on as far as what I have?
How old are you?
48. Wife's 45.
Okay. I mean, you can just leave it to them in a will straight up, and then they would become the owners of it. It's that simple. They're going to pay a $40,000 fee in this. Now, you can avoid that if you put this into a living trust.
Okay.
The portion that you put in the living trust will pass outside of probate and save you 4%. A living trust will typically cost you about $3,500 in legal fees to put in place. I'm 61. I do not have a living trust.
And a lot more.
And here's why I don't have one at here's why I don't have one at 61. The items that you move into the living trust after you pay the legal fees to form the thing are operated by the trust then. And I don't want to have to screw around to go get the trustee to sign something if I want to sell something that I own. And if I want to operate something that I own, if I want to buy insurance on something that I own, if I want to, everything you do, you have to screw around with a trust on it. And from an operations standpoint, it's a nightmare. And it's why a lot of people don't do it. But it will save you $40,000 when you die. In my world, it ain't worth it. $40,000, it's worth it to operate the thing and be able to not mess with it. So if I were in your shoes, personally, it's what I've done. I don't have a living trust. I have stuff in LLCs. I don't own anything anymore. Everything's in an LLC or a corporation of some kind. But all of that is left in our estate plan through the vehicle of a will, and there are some trusts formed upon my death that are estate planning because I have an estate in excess of $11.7 million. So I've got a federal estate tax problem that's a different set of issues. But in your case, dude, I just have a will. Thanks, Ken. Quick on the Google.
Yeah, see, Dave, that's just all you know your role, folks. Okay, we get into this kind of complex finances, folks. It's not who I am. I'm the purpose and bigger paycheck guy. But I can Google things for you, Dave. And see, you got to know your role.
Google Ken. Ken Google. We're going to give him a new name.
I do want to point out to these folks that it was a reputable site. So that wasn't off of Wikipedia. I didn't just hand Dave. I looked at it long enough to know that I'm not handing Dave Wikipedia. All right, nothing against that.
Well, there you go. Well, it did come through Google. So, I mean, so folks, anytime you want an answer to a question, call us. We'll Google it for you.
If Dave can't, here's what it really means. If Dave can't answer it, Ken can via Google.
Ken can Google it while I answer it.
That's right. I'm Dave's research assistant when necessary.
Michelle is in Boston. Hey, Michelle, what's up?
Hey, how are you? Thank you for taking my call today.
Sure.
My question has to do, we have phased out this year of being able to put money into a Roth IRA for our retirement, and we get no tax benefit of doing a traditional IRA. So
Right.
what would be your recommendation?
Well, this year is the last year you can do what's called a backdoor Roth. The Biden administration has closed the door after this year, but for this year you can do a backdoor Roth. And the backdoor Roth works like this. After the first year, just open an after-tax traditional IRA and instantaneously convert it to a Roth. And you can put $6,000 in that. And I did it last year. Sharon and I do them every year. We'll do it this year. It'll be our last year that we get to do that. After that, you've got to invest. You max out any kind of anything you've got available, and it sounds like you already have. And you would just invest in things that are capital gains growth. Now, let me explain what that means, okay?
Okay.
The easiest example is real estate, but you don't have to do real estate. So if you buy a house as an investment for $200,000 and it goes up to $300,000 in value, you do not pay taxes on that $100,000 increase until you sell the house, right?
Right.
Yeah, the value increase you don't pay taxes on until you sell it. Same's true with stock. If you buy a stock and hold it, if it goes up in value, you don't pay taxes on the capital gains growth until you sell it. And when you do sell it, it's taxed only at your capital gains rate, not an ordinary income rate. So like a traditional, like an annuity or something like that, it's going to be taxed at ordinary income. But if you sell a stock or a house or a piece of land or whatever, you're going to be taxed at 15% unless you make over $400K, and then you'll be taxed at 20% on capital gains rate. And so you buy things that'll hold like that. And an example of an easy thing to do like that is called a low turnover mutual fund. Write that down, a low turnover mutual fund. And that's an index fund like a S&P 500 is an example of that. You can put small amounts of money in there, it'll grow, and won't pay taxes on it until you get there. Ken, thanks for your assistance today.
Yeah, always there for you, Dave.
That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.